I'm here with your favorite blogger's favorite rapper. Listen to me. This is a different type of intro right now. I'm talking about an artist whose music does something to you when you hear it. It makes you move a certain way. A man whose music talks directly to a place called Brownsville. You might have heard of it. Brooklyn, to be exact. Don't go looking for it on Google Maps. We don't want no trouble tonight. I'm with a street certified individual who's worked with a long list of talented people. Today, I've got Billy Danze from M.O.P. What is poppin', my guy?
Uh, Everything popping, brother. I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the intro. Man, you made me sound like a superhero. I like that, brother.
Hey, man, it's an honor to have you here, and I appreciate you being here because I know MOP isn't just waking up, dying to do an interview. So it's an honor to have a conversation with you.
It's my pleasure, bro. My pleasure. Mm.
So first and foremost, can you tell me about what MOP stands for? Some people just thought it stood for mop, like we'll mop the floor with you.
Well, that could work too, right? But no, MOP stand for the Mash Out Posse. Self-explanatory. In Brooklyn and our day of growing up in the streets, a mash out was, a mash out, a beat down. You know what I mean? And that's where we got the name from because we specialized in that mash out. You know what I mean? and that beat down. So that's where we got the name from.
So how did you come up with that name, Mash Out Posse? Like, can you tell me exactly what it means to mash out?
Well, so it's like I said, it's the mash out was the beat down, right? And we mastered that. One of my friends, lifelong friend of mine, a female from my block, started just calling it, the team the Mash Out Posse because there was a lot of activity in that way at the time. So and like I said, we kind of mastered that mash out. So that's how we got the name. It's just a beat down. It's a good old fashioned mashing is what we call it.
Also, I want to ask, like, why posse? Why'd you go with posse? Why not a crew or why not a gang? You know what I mean? It was kind of old school.
Yeah, we're definitely not a gang because we're not a gang. Crew was the it thing at the time. This is my crew, that's your crew, whatever. And we're different. So we always wanted to be different. And like I said, she came up with it. So, and it just stuck with us. You know what I mean? So I think posse is a little more better because when you think posse, you think about some real riders. You know what I'm saying? And it was just enough of us, basically against the world. So it's almost like a whole movie. You know what I'm saying? Where the underdog kind of comes out on top. So we are the Mash Out Posse, and that's exactly who we are and will continue to be.
So tell me, how does a group from Brooklyn end up with a song on a soundtrack to one of the hottest movies, House Party 3, featuring Bernie Mac, TLC, and funded by New Line Cinema? When did that happen?
Bro, for when people think about these M.O.P records, period, right? Like, so we have people that move things around for us, obviously, on the admin side of things to help us get placements and stuff like that. And bro, I'm so grateful for this. Every year, it's like maybe for the past 20 years or even before, because we're talking about if we go all the way back to select days, 94. This started happening. So it's just I don't know, but I'm always grateful for it. Like you said in the intro, there's that feeling that comes from MOP that people gravitate to, whether it be Hollywood, video games, theme music for fighters, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just grateful for it, and it's done what it was supposed to do for me as an artist or as a man, as a father, right? Because it's helped me do the things I needed to do for my family inside the house. So very grateful for that, and hopefully it keeps going. So Ante Up, anything, anytime you need something for your movie or for your video game, please contact the folks. Like I said, I'm very grateful for it, and you know, as long as it continue to happen, you know, I'm happy about it, and I'm going to continue to make music. So just in case y'all don't want to use any of the old joints, y'all can use some of the new joints too.
The re-listening session, great project with multiple features on it. Method Man,
Yes.
Daz Dillinger, Havoc, Cormega, a couple of my favorites right there.
Mm-hmm.
So let me take it back, man. How was it growing up in Brownsville in the late 80s and 90s? Like, tell me about this place you come from called Brownsville.
It's, you know, I just mentioned movie, right? So it's really like a movie. And I know that's what kids say today, like, you make a movie, whatever, but it's really like living in a movie. Whatever you could think about, like your whatever street movie that you were excited about, or that everybody's so hopped up about, it's really that, right? It's really The Wire. It's really BMF. It's really you know, joints like that, you know, Boys in the Hood. It's really that. And being stuck in it, it's a dangerous place, let's be honest, right? So we grew up in this dangerous place, but when you're stuck in it, it don't feel so dangerous, right? Because even though dangerous, every step you take, you're in danger, you still can have some kind of fun there. It's a beautiful place, but it's a dangerous place. And what I'm saying about Brownsville is no different from anywhere else, bro. We got these kind of places all around the world. The world, not just the country, all around the world. There's hard places like this, poverty stricken, a lot of violence, a lot of nonsense. And people are just there just trying to figure out a way to get out. But it's almost like a ceiling in this neighborhood of Brownsville and these other places around the country. It's a ceiling there, and we can't see past the ceiling. So all we really try to do is get to the ceiling, which gives, you know, give us not one up on somebody else, but at least try to have a better quality of life. But it's when you're in the middle of it, you can't really see a better quality of life. So, but I love my town. I love my city. I love Brooklyn. I love the places like Brownsville and Brooklyn itself, because I know the challenges that people go through. And anytime I see somebody be successful from there, it's almost like I'm successful. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else that's successful from my neighborhood or from neighborhoods like mine, I also enjoy that success with them. Just, you know, it's like a relief that somebody's getting it. Somebody has an understanding of we need to do better. So, but shout out to Brownsville. I wouldn't trade my upbringing or my home for anything in the world, bro.
So could you tell me what high school did you go to?
Well, I was supposed to go to Jefferson High. That didn't work out, right? Because, so let me tell you about it, right? So where I live there, I live on the very top of the hill, which is the very like if you're coming from Manhattan or something like that, or whatever, it's the very beginning of Brownsville. You got to go all the way down the hill to get to the center of Brownsville. Then you got to shift to the left to get to East New York. So my school was Jefferson High School. That was the zone school for where I lived. There was no transportation, like there was no bus. There was, of course, there was, but there was no school buses that would take you there. You would even have to get on a train or whatever, which would take you all the way around. Just makes no sense. So I would have to walk all the way from the top of the hill, all the way through Brownsville, halfway through East New York, or part of the way through East New York to get to school. That was way too dangerous to go to school. Just that walk alone, you know what I'm saying? So I wind up, it's an excuse, but it's the truth, right? It was too much for me to get to school. I had to face too many obstacles to get to school. So I wound up not going to Jeff. I wound up not even finishing school. You know what I mean? Just really because of that reason. Like I said, it's an excuse. But in my head at the time, that's why I didn't want to go to school. But I was pretty smart in school too. Just you know, and I still got my smarts too, by the way.
Can you tell me about linking with DJ Premier, you know, and how it felt to actually have that Premier sound behind you, and what doors did that open for you?
Oh, a lot, bro. When we first met Premier, we met J-Ru first. On the train in Brooklyn. J-Ru had the Come Clean joint out, and I remember seeing it on Video Music Box at the time. And we was on a train, me and my guy Boo Bang, God bless him. And I looked down the car to the end of the train car, and I seen who appeared to be the guy who was on this video, J-Ru the Damager. So we went up to him, started talking to him or whatever. He, you know, he knew who we were. We knew who he was. And he was like, "Yo, Premier loves y'all." I was like, "Word?" Like, we can't believe that. Why would Premier even know who we are? We only have one song out. We only had our How About Some Hardcore. And then Premier and Lays kind of linked up because Premier, well, Lays and Guru was always friends from back in the days, way before M.O.P even came out. So him and Lays and Premier linked up, and we decided, we wanted to do a record. Premier wanted to do a record for us. No, we wanted to do a remix to How About Some Hardcore, and Premier agreed to do that. Now, funny thing is, we never did the remix. When we got in the studio, Premier started. He was making beats. I remember it very clearly. He was making a beat for for a remix to How About Some Hardcore. I went downstairs to get a slice of pizza. When I returned, there was this dope beat, which was the beginning of M.O.P's Downtown Swinger series. You know what I mean? So we threw the whole remix idea out the window, and we started Downtown Swinger. And to work with Premier, it was great, man, because he took us on our first world tour. We did a huge tour, and I want to say 96, 97. We went across seas with Gangstar, which was the most amazing time that I've ever had in my life. Because up until this point, I haven't even left Brooklyn, right? I never left New York, really. So to go overseas, we're in Germany, France, and UK, and all of that, it was great. And even to this day, because of the work that we've done with Premier, like, people are always calling because of that signature sound that we have when we get in the room together. People love it. I love it too, bro. So, shout out to DJ Premier for everything that he's done for M.O.P. He's partially responsible for the success of M.O.P. So I'm always grateful to my brother, man.
Yeah, how was it going from the To the Death album to the Firing Squad? You guys linked up with Cool G Rap on that album.
Yes, that was nuts. So we were in a time where, so the first album, To the Death, was on Select Records. Shout out to Mr. Fred Moneo and the good folks at Select Records for giving us our first shot into the business. So now we're coming off of Select. We're getting off of Select, and we didn't have a deal while we were recording the next album because, like I said, we're trying to get off of Select. We're off of Select now, and we just started working, going hard. Premier was already in our corner at this time, so he's giving us he's putting the battery in our back. We got to keep going, Lays is there, like, yo, come on, let's go. Got a few records done, and the vibe was just there. You know what I mean? Like, the energy had reemerged because, we're young kids, and we're like, okay, we don't have a record deal no more. What does that mean? Did we fail? Is it over? You know what I mean? So they gave us the push to keep going, and then Fame had the idea to get Cool G Rap on Stick to Your Guns. I remember Premier came with the beat. It was so fire. We didn't even lay no verses. We just waited to see what if we could get G Rap on it. And we were in Gabriella's studio on 28th Street in Manhattan, in the city. And we had wrote our verses, and G Rap was supposed to be on his way. You had to see us sitting there like little kids, bro. Like, we sitting there twiddling our thumbs, going, "Holy shit, G Rap is coming!" You know what I mean? When he rung the bell, we answered. He's like, "Yo, it's Chuck. That's his man, Chuck." We like, "Oh shit, he here." Dude, I go right to the fucking elevator and wait. It's like the elevator took its sweet time. It's never took so long to come fucking to the fourth floor and shit, right? So G Rap got off that. When the elevator door opened, bro, it's like the holy grail, right? It's like, I'm like, holy shit, it's really him. I had a bottle of alcohol for him. I was so happy to see him, man. And he came in and he embraced us like, y'all my little bros. I'm going to help y'all, figure this thing out. If y'all need me, I'm here. Felt so good, bro. And he destroyed the verse. Destroyed that fucking verse. We were so happy. And you got to see us in there, man. Now you got me reliving this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing it all in my head right now. So excited, man. So shout out to G-Rap.
Such
And
a
I
classy
think,
beat.
yes. Premier bodied the beat. I mean, destroyed it. G-Rap came in and did his thing. Fame opened it up properly like it was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So great song. And I'll tell you another thing. We probably performed that song only 2 times in our career.
With Cool G-Rap?
Never with G-Rap.
Damn.
Never with G-Rap, just me and Fame. And it gotta be the hardest record to perform. I don't know why. It's like the hardest record to perform. I don't know if it's the adrenaline behind it, the thought behind it. Maybe we need G here. I don't know, but it's the hardest record to perform. But a lot of people give us props for that record, and people really enjoyed the record, and so do I. I still enjoy it too. And like I said, I'm grateful for G-Rap and grateful for DJ Premier.
Yeah, man, a great follow-up to How About Some Hardcore, I gotta say.
Yes, it was perfect.
So I want to ask you, man, what made Jay-Z so interested in working with M.O.P? He worked with y'all on 4 Alarm Blaze. He appeared in the music video off the 3rd album, First Family for Life.
So you know what? Back to that same time of Gabriella's studio when we didn't have the deal with Select, right? We were in transition. Jay-Z and Dame Dash used to come to the studio almost every day. This is when they were starting Roc-A-Fella. It was just Jay and Dame. There was the other artists that we know, Bleak and State Property, all of these cats. Nobody was there. It was just Jay and Dame. And they would come every day and try to get us to get on board and come be down with Roc-A-Fella, right? And this is, and I call it like when the rock was a pebble, right? Like jokingly, before it had got big, they would always come and try to get us to get down on the come to get down with Roc-A-Fella. So it started back then. So you know what I mean? So it started before people knew, or before we even did any songs with Jay or even signed to Roc-A-Fella. So it was something that was bound to happen. It had to be the right time.
So you guys do this video, and I just want to point out the timing. The video, it drops in 98, and the video that Jay-Z has out at the same time is Can I Get A? You know what I mean? Jay-Z is literally at the prime of his career when he's allowing you guys to release his material alongside him. Can you remember that point in time? Like, he's like the biggest rapper out. And he's doing this gut feature with you guys.
Yeah. Well, realistically, bro, he needed that too, right? And this is how a smart artist, he's a smart artist, right? Because that joint, it was good for the club and for who that worked for. But then he still needed to have that street vibe going on. Not that he couldn't do it himself, but I mean, you're doing it with M.O.P, who actually has the street, was a great move. And to have them out at the same time, you're not even competing with yourself, or the songs are not competing with each other. You know what I mean? So, great record. And that 4 Alarm Blaze verse that Jay did was fire. So, he stood up, and really help people understand that he could do music, or he could write verses in any lane. That helped him with that. So, I'm gonna say a shout out to myself and shout out to Fame from Jay-Z for allowing him to be on that record and solidify himself in the street realm when it comes to the music.
So Loud Records had Wu-Tang. Did you feel like that label was a good fit for M.O.P? Like, how did you feel about the whole direction that Steve Rifkin was going with it?
At the time, so you gotta understand, like, I'm just a music fan. Like, I'm an actual music fan. As music fans at the time, it's different from now. At the time, we really didn't care about the label, right? We weren't not care about it, but we weren't interested in it. As a fan, as a music fan, we weren't interested in the label. We just cared about the music and the artists and the songs. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't realize how strong Loud was before we were on Loud, or even while we were on Loud. But when I look back and I think about it, Loud was the biggest. Like, they had all the top artists was on Loud at that time, right? And Steve, now that I'm completely sober and I can pay attention to what had happened, right? Steve was an amazing dude. Like, his whole team, that whole Loud team was amazing. So to have basically all the top artists in one space and be able to cater to all of them at the same time is fascinating. Everybody was there, like you said, like, Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, you know what I'm saying? M.O.P,
Like a
this one,
mini
that
Def
one.
Jam.
Yes, and every project did what it was supposed to do, because Steve put a lot of care into those records, into the artists. So I appreciate Mr. Rifkin for that. That's my guy too, man, and he's still going too. So shout out to Steve. Shout out to Steve.
Oh, definitely shout out to Steve Rifkin. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate those words, man, because yeah, he did have a label that made you want to be a fan. He had like a
Mm-hmm.
who's who. Ante Up drops. Ante Up was one of the biggest, craziest songs, and it led your album Warriors to hitting number 25 on the Billboard Top 200. Can you tell
Right.
me about the creation of that song?
So this is a weird thing, right? So before that album dropped, we were creating the album, and then we had some issues with we had some issues with budgeting, right? So what we did was we did handle your business, right? We did handle your business
With
and
priority.
just threw it out, right? We just threw it out. Wasn't worrying about nothing but some attention. Um, that re-sparked everything, right? Got us back where we needed to be as far as in the public eye. And then we went back to the album. Now, Fame went and hung out with DR, which is every big M.O.P record. This is how it happens. Fame goes and hang out with DR. Period. DR. Period plays a bunch of beats for Fame. Direct Fame to certain beats, and Fame goes, no, not that one, this one. And this is how he finds How About Some Hardcore. This is how he finds Ante Up. Same way. Fame brings the beat back to the studio. We're in Pyramid Studio, also in Manhattan, and he just had this concept. He's take names off, take James off. No. I'm like, okay. So he goes and lays verse. I'm like, oh, this is fire. So he never even says to me the song is about robbery or whatever, right? He never says that to me. So I just start following his lead on the, whatever vocal he does his 8-bar, and then I go, okay, that fuels me to write my 8-bar. I go in and do my 8-bar. Cool. We don't do the hook yet at all. So now we on the second verse. He does his second verse. That fuels me to write what I wrote. Same with the third verse. And then we go with the hook. He go, Ante Up. Ante Up. Okay, cool. I'm following Fame with this. So it just worked out just like that, bro. And it turns out to be, I thought about this the other day. Ante Up, and I'm not just, tugging my own horn here, but Ante Up is one of the biggest records in hip hop history, especially when it comes to licensing and placements and all of that. One of the biggest. There's a lot of huge records out there. I thought about it 2 days ago. There's huge hip hop records out there, but none of them have as many placements as that Ante Up record. So shout out to DR. Period with the beat. Shout out to Fame with the concept. Shout out to Gabrielle Studio for the space. Plays with the vision. I'm grateful for the record, bro. So that's kind of how that happened.
And then you guys do the remix. Can you tell me about Remy Ma? Tell me about Remy Ma. Why did you think Remy Ma would be a good fit for the song? Were there any other females that you considered if Remy didn't do it?
So yeah, I had no thought about Remy being on the record. I had just met Remy not so long before the record was we went into production to do the remix. I had no idea she was even going to be on the record. So let's tell the truth, and I think she told the truth when we was at the BET Awards or whatever. Remy forced her way on this record. She literally had her A&R at the time, who was at Loud, Sean C, my brother, steal, so to speak, steal the beat from the studio, and she laid a verse to it. Now I'm gonna tell you, when I realized that she was on the record, I came into the studio. As I'm walking into the studio, I could hear, hold on, I done that, done that, which is, from my original version, that pattern, but it's not my voice. I'm walking into the studio. It's a long hallway. I could just hear it. It's not my voice. When I get into the control room, Remy's sitting there on the top of the couch. She's sitting on the back of the couch, and she's just listening to it. Her verse is fire. I'm confused because I don't know how the hell you get on the record, but it's so fucking fire. I'm like, play that back. I played it about 10, 15 times. So fire, so fire. So the truth is, she bullied her way on the record, which I'm glad that she did that, because this is the most amazing record, and it jump-started her career. So it did more than just, it was more than just a moment for that remix record. Busta Rhymes came and did his thing like always. Teflon destroyed it like always. Me and Fame did our ones and twos that we always do, and the record is still going today. So it was just, the record was not just for that moment. It had lasted until today. Remy's got a great career out of it. It helped Busta rekindle some flame for himself. It did a lot for Teflon, did a lot for M.O.P as well. So I'm happy about the remix. I'm happy. I think what I'm really happy about is that Remy forced her way onto the record, because we had no thought about putting a female on the record. Let me say that. Also, Jay-Z was supposed to be on the record and have it. I'm sorry, Prodigy was supposed to be on the record. Prodigy sent the verse. It was like a little too crazy. Him and Jay-Z was that's when they was having their little thing. And once that happened, I was like, no, we can't use that verse. We definitely not using it. And then we decided, just call Jay and tell him, yo, don't worry about it, forget it. And that's how you got Ante Up remix as it is right now.
Wow, that's crazy. Had you had any prior relationship with Remy Ma? Like, you guys knew each other for her to just jump on your record?
No, well, remember, that's Pun's people. So we had a relationship with Pun. And like I said, I had just recently met her before the Ante Up remix came about. So I didn't know her that well. But like I said, I'm just glad she bullied her way on the record, man, because she's still rolling. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Remy. But yeah, I didn't know her that well, but a nice young lady, and always been.
Did you ever get to have much of a relationship with Big Pun? And if so, could you tell me about meeting him or what you guys did together?
You know what? Not really so much just hanging out or anything like that. It was really mostly about music or whatever. But I can't remember the first time I met him. These are my Hennessy driven days, so I can't remember everything. But I do remember in DC, after we met and everybody's cool or whatever, doing a show with Pun, and Joe was there as well. And at our time we had this friendly competition. So, and we take a lot of pride in the M.O.P shows. A lot of energy there. It's always going to be amazing, always going to be dope. And like I said, it's friendly competition. So, Joe and them is there. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun, right? We going to kill it, right? They get on the stage, and this is me being 100% honest. I'm like, these dudes are big, right? The way that Pun rap, there's no way he's going to, I said, I hope they have a good show, but I don't know if they're going to be able to kind of outdo an M.O.P show. Remember, it's that friendly competition, right? Dude, they gets up there and fucking destroys it, right? And Pun with the, I'm already going, he ain't going to be able to do that. This is a large man. Dude, I don't know where you get the fucking, the breath control from to do this shit. But when I say they destroyed it, they fucking destroyed it. Another time I can remember really well was just before he passed. We was working on the last album that they put out on him, and we went to Sony's studio and we just hung out there with him, man, and created the New York Giants record. But it was like almost like a reunion, like a family reunion type, right? So we were just kind of there hanging out. And Pun had this thing about him. If you know him, you know like he was almost a comedian, right? Always joking and laughing and having a good time, a lot of fun and shit. I remember it so clearly, like how much fun we just had just sitting in that studio, just hanging out with him that day. And sadly, about a week later, I got a call and they said that he passed away, which was kind of, threw me for a loop because I remember exactly where I was when I got the news and everything. But yeah, rest in peace to Big Pun. Definitely one of the greatest, one of the greats in hip hop, and I feel like he don't be talked about enough in this time when we talk about who's great or top fives and all of that. Pun was an animal on that mic, man. You know what I mean? He was an animal on that mic, and a lot of people could not do nothing with him, especially whoever's supposed to be the top dudes today. Pun will wrap circles around you. You know what I'm saying? He was a large man, but he still had what he needed to become a superstar, and he did it really well. So rest in peace to my brother Pun, and anybody out there listening that don't know who Big Pun is, make sure y'all look him up and check that man work out. He deserves the credit, as just like everybody else.
Thanks, man. Rest in peace, Big Pun.
Yes.
I'm glad you can share that story. It's dope to be able to think about M.O.P, with the legends duos like Fat Joe and Big Pun, how you guys did work with CNN, you know what I mean? After Loud Records folded, how did M.O.P end up with Roc-A-Fella?
As I said, we can go all the way back to 95, right? When the rock was a pebble, as I called it, jokingly. They would always try to come and get us involved, try to get us to sign to Roc-A-Fella. So they were still trying to get us to sign to Roc-A-Fella while we were on these deals, while we was in these other deals. Because realistically, bro, from what I understand, my assessment and from what's been told to me, most of every deal M.O.P had outside of Select, which was our first deal, every deal was because the head of the label, the CEO, the owner, or whoever, the A&R, was fans of M.O.P's, right? So Roc-A-Fella, the good folks at Roc-A-Fella was fans of M.O.P. So they just kept, every time we may get out of one deal and transitions to another, they would always be like, yo, what's up? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? You know what I mean? So they kind of followed the group the whole time, and it was destined to happen. Jay and Dame always, we were always cool with them. So that made it easy once we found that space that we can get a deal done. You know what I mean? Jay came over, Dame came over, we pulled it together. And the rest is history.
Yeah, facts, man. You came in at the perfect time. Jay-Z
Mhm.
released the Blueprint 2 with
Mhm.
features from Biggie, Dr.
Mhm.
Dre,
Mhm.
Beyonce, and M.O.P. You
That's
know
right.
what I'm saying? This album was gold in a week and 3 times platinum overall. Can you tell me about the You Don't Know remix?
That you know what, bro? The beat, for me, it was the beat, right? Even for the fan, I know it's about the beat. I don't even know my own verse now to the song, right? I know Fame's verse because we do it at shows. I don't know Jay verse. For me, it was about that beat. When Jay sent that beat over, I was like, holy shit. So I'm a horn whore, right? So if I hear horns, I'm on it. Um, so when they sent the beat over, we were working in on 34th Street. We had our own studio on 34th Street. When they sent the beat over, dude, I just went nuts. I didn't care whose song it was, what needed to be done. Just give me what I need to do as far as bar wise. Give me a bar count, and I'm just gonna go in there and go. And for me, the beat alone was amazing, but Fame when Fame gets on the beat, right, and this always happens, he give me the energy to go. So once I heard Fame's verse, I'm like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was an easy thing for me. And the song itself, like when we do this record at shows, when it comes on, people go nuts, bro. So banging record. And J verse was dope too, from what I can remember. Because like I said, I don't remember the whole song, all the verses or whatever, because for me it was just about that beat. So shout out to Jess Blaze, who is an amazing producer, bro. Amazing fucking producer. So he killed that beat. Yeah, she was fire.
You know, this was really the perfect song to put you on. Some say that y'all out-rapped Jay on this, man. Jay got the original, but they say on the remix that you lost Jay. I want to ask you, man, what do you remember most about being with Roc-A-Fella? How did things change for M.O.P?
Bro, and I'm not saying that like, no cocky shit, but we're so grounded that with M.O.P, like we're people first, right? Like we're not artists like that. We just happen to know how to rap. So there was no change in attitude, no change in the vehicles that we drive. We always had nice cars. You know what I'm saying? So people think, okay, you're now down with Roc-A-Fella, things gonna be a little bit flashy, da. For me, bro, the only thing that changed was I got a chain, a Roc-A-Fella chain, right? I just had a new chain to add to the other chains that I had. That's the only change that it was. You know what I'm saying? Because we were gonna still be M.O.P, still deliver records the way that we have in the past. I have these conversations sometimes, or I look online and I see this. Like some people were not so happy about M.O.P doing a deal with Roc-A-Fella. Now, if you're an M.O.P fan, why would you not support me because I did a deal with Roc-A-Fella, right? Now you don't want to support me no more because I'm still going to give you M.O.P. You know what I'm saying? So to those people that didn't know at the time, I'm letting you know now that there was no change at all. You know what I'm saying? Now you should know that. You see that there was no change. Me and Fame still continue to make records the way we have before, the way we did before we got down with Roc-A-Fella. And the way that we carried ourselves was the exact same way. So there was no change. You know what I mean? But we are grateful for, for the deal, for doing business with those dudes. And because every deal that we had also with Roc-A-Fella and every other label, like that helped us grow and get further along. You know what I'm saying? We call it get to the goal. So we kept moving the ball up the field to the goal. So, I appreciate every label that we were on and, helped us move forward. So, that's it. There's no change though, bro. You always gonna get M.O.P. That's all we got. That's all we got to offer.
Blueprint 2 was nearly the peak of Roc-A-Fella. Did you know that Dame Dash and Jay-Z were on their way to breaking up? Like, did things seem off or was it business as usual?
I had no idea. And I talk about this a lot, and some people get mad at me about it. But like I said, going back to the beginning of M.O.P career, when we were in transition from Select to Loud, those cats came to the studio every day. They had absolutely nothing as far as in the music industry. Roc-A-Fella was just a pebble, like I said. I watched them build this whole thing. I'm there the whole time, right? I'm watching them build this whole thing. By the time we got there, it had already exploded. They're making millions of dollars everywhere. Jay-Z's the biggest artist on the planet. So I had no idea that there was any kind of internal problem. The problem I have with it is that there was an internal problem that did not get rectified. And people are mad at me about it because I didn't. When the split happened, I had a meeting with Dame. He offered me, a deal, nice money, whatever. I wouldn't accept it. A week later, I had a meeting with Jay up at Def Jam. He offered a deal, really nice money. I wouldn't accept it, right? Now, the reason why I wouldn't accept it is because I didn't want to do business with Dame without Jay. And I didn't want to do business with Jay without Dame because I watched y'all build this thing together. You see what I'm saying? Now it's fell apart. in my head, I'm going with shit. You know, if you could somebody help you, or you and someone build something from the ground, become multi-millionaires together. If you could turn your back on that person, what could you do to me? Right? That's the only thing in my head. And that's not saying anything about either one of them, because I don't know exactly what the issue was that caused the fallout of Roc-A-Fella. I don't know. You know what I mean? But what I do know is what I've seen from when the rock was a pebble to when the rock exploded. You guys did that together. So there's no room or no safety here for me. There's no comfortability here for me if you can actually turn your back and walk away from somebody that made you a lot of money. Not just made you, but y'all did it together. So you don't have no real tie to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm more about loyalty and, you know what I'm saying, and honor. I didn't see that there for me. You know what I mean? So we just kind of walked out of the situation.
What was it that led to y'all leaving Roc-A-Fella? Was it the breakup of them, or did you leave prior to that?
Yeah, it was more about the breakup of them. You know what I'm saying? And really, like, we don't need M.O.P. don't need a solid structure from somebody else's situation to stand on to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're already solid. So if their thing didn't work out, okay, cool, we can keep moving. You know what I mean? So like I said, that breakup didn't affect M.O.P. at all. It affected the hip hop community, M.O.P. as fans, me as a man watching them build this thing and then splitting apart. I was hurt behind it. I was really hurt behind it, man, because I watched these guys build it and then it just fell all apart. So yeah, but we were already situated, and you know, whatever moves we had to make, we was gonna make to make sure that we were good. And we're still rolling now. So you know what I'm saying? Like, we weren't really affected by it at all.
Did you get the chance to work with Old Dirty Bastard while you were working with Dame Dash at all? I know he was an artist over there on Dame Dash Music Group.
Yeah, but not as an M.O.P. record. We didn't do any M.O.P. records with him. You know, I saw him on a set at State Property, I think it was. I saw him on a set of that, and I hadn't seen him in years or whatever. I think he had just came home from when he was locked up, a little prison stint or something like that. I saw him on a set of State Property, and that was the last time I saw him. After that, he had passed away. So I didn't really get to do anything with him, but I know there's a record out there with Fame on it and Old Dirty. Premier produced it as well, which is, the record is fire. But no, we didn't. I didn't get to work with him personally while we were over there.
Since you brought it up, how was it being in the movie State Property?
Dude, that's we're talking about my Hennessy Fuel days, right? I don't remember shit. I remember the time though. Like, it was a good time in my life. I was enjoying life. I was enjoying not really being an artist, but enjoying what being an artist was bringing to me. Like, the travel, the, hanging out in different places, just having a good time in life. So yeah, like, it's little things that I can remember about it that that they're real small things, but it mean a lot to me. Like pulling up on a set, almost running into, like, I think Beanie was standing out there, and I think I turned my head and almost ran into Beanie or something in the car or some shit, like little shit like that. Like, I said it's little, but I
You
didn't hit
almost
him.
hit Beanie Siegel with a car.
I didn't hit him. I think it was Beanie. It was somebody out there though, and I remember my brother having a conversation with Dame, and my brother giving him a lot of props and showing him his appreciation for the work that he's done. And my brother he's so far away from the music industry. Like, I remember that so clearly. So yeah, it was just good times on the set. It was just a good time on the set. You know what I mean?
Sounds like it, man.
Yeah,
Now,
man.
you went from Roc-A-Fella to popping up with 50 Cent and G Unit. How did that whole situation with 50 and G Unit come about?
Again, every deal since Select Records, everybody was a fan. So 50 was a fan. And he told me the story that his son kept talking to him about Annie Up, or kept singing Annie Up to him. So when he got the opportunity, when he found out we were in between deals, he contacted us and tried to get the deal done. So that's really how it happened. Because 50 was a fan, or his son was a fan, and kind of pushed him towards trying to work with the group, which turned into doing some business together. So 50's from South Jamaica, where a lot of my family is, and I know him and a few of my cousins were real tight. And before 50 thing exploded, before his career exploded, every time I come through South Jamaica, they would always, if I stop and see my cousins or whatever, they would always say, "Yo, you need to come do a record with my man, 50 Cent." I hadn't even heard of him really then. You need to come and do a record with my man 50. I just never got around to do it. So later on, after his thing exploded, he reached out. I think he reached out to Lays or Fame or whatever. And it kind of started from there. And we, went on tour with them, traveled the world with them, with Eminem and 50 for the Massacre tour. Yeah, for the Massacre tour. And once we came back, we kind of hung out at 50 crib for months at a time, just doing records. And we got a deal done from there. And it was good times with G Unit. We had a great run with them as far as touring and hanging out and mingling with everybody, with Banks and Buck and Yayo and Olivia, everybody that was over there, Spider Loke, Hot Rod, everybody. From the engineers to the bus drivers, like to the drivers, like everybody was cool as shit. So it was like we're not doing music. We're doing music, but we're not really doing business. We're just kind of hanging out with the homies and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it felt real good. And again, like everyone else, I appreciate the opportunity to help keep the career going. You know what I mean? So G Unit came in and was like, "Look, we got our own house. It's comfortable here. Y'all can borrow the couch if you want to." So we borrowed the couch and we hung out on the couch for a little bit, and then we moved away after things never went sour for M.O.P and G Unit. You know what I'm saying? It's just things started changing with the infrastructure of the business. So there was no room for us to actually get a record out over there. But again, shout out to the good folks at G Unit, 50 Cent, everybody over there. Good guys, man.
The first time we saw you was actually in the Out of Control remix music video released in September of 2005. How was it taking on that role as a G Unit artist, wearing the clothes, working with the other artists, running around with 50?
Like I said, it didn't. I'm never anybody other than M.O.P. Right? So, but I think what worked, or what made it a little easier, was we were the same kind of people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we walk into a room and it's like, the fuck is going on here? Opera? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that. We were the same kind of people. Not just the same kind of artists, but the same kind of people. Grounded street dudes. So that was easy. Plus, my favorite group was over there, Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? My guys. So it was real easy. Nothing seemed out of place. I think it just didn't seem like business, which was a good thing, which made it easy for us to walk into it. And you know what I'm saying? There was no pressure there. It was just like, do what you do. That's what you do anyway. You know what I'm saying? You get on a record, you make street records, you just do what you do, which was a good thing. So it wasn't hard at all to fall into G Unit and still do M.O.P.
What did you think about all the drama surrounding G Unit? Like the beef with Game. How did it feel? Did it feel like you were taking on a bunch of new enemies after signing with 50?
No, not at all. So I said this before, like 50 didn't sign M.O.P for that, right? Like, or we didn't start doing business with G Unit for that reason, because they already had whatever they was dealing with. They was already dealing with it, and they was handling it well. You know what I'm saying? So, and I never even thought about it. I never thought about any of the beef that they had, because really, I didn't see any. I've heard about things, but I didn't see anything. You know what I'm saying? So, and with M.O.P, like, we have the ability to do what we do and go anywhere we want to go. So I didn't feel any way about, if I was in LA, I didn't think, oh, yo, Game going, or some of Game's people. I don't give a fuck about that, or you know what I'm saying, or if we're somewhere else and they may have a beef over here, I don't care about that because dudes know M.O.P is M.O.P, and it's not just that easy to you know what I mean, to do anything to those M.O.P boys and get away with it. Not like that, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't feel no way about it, bro. And none of the beef. There's different types of beef, right? There's like altercations in the music business that's not really beef. You know what I'm saying? Some situations they did have beef, but that was their beef. It wasn't M.O.P's beef, and we didn't do business with them to to come on board to help with a beef. You know what I'm saying? We just it was about music, and that was it, bro.
Yeah, I know Fame did mention the one time when somebody had been calling out G Unit on him. I
Mm-hmm.
think that actually touched home in New York too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know what's crazy? We just did, we did a podcast, and I don't know if I could say it, but we did a podcast. I'll say that. And Fame actually explained it there. So the thing about Fame is he's such a genuine dude that if you have an issue with something, like even I won't even know about it, right? So the reason why he said the next that say GU not to me, I'm gonna stomp your ass out with the Gore-Tex beef and broccoli, right? He said that because someone in Brooklyn said it to him, right? And Fame got into a fight with him. This was all the way back then. I just found this out last year. What is this year? Last year. So I had no clue anything about it. And a lot of people were going, oh, he was going that game. He wasn't, right? I knew he wasn't. I didn't know why, why he said it when I first heard the verse. He was like, no, I ain't thinking about game. I don't even know game. You know what I'm saying? So why would he say it the game? So he said it because he had that situation. I think, like I said, out in Brooklyn where he got into a little squabble with a dude over it. That's why he said it.
Yeah, Game says Interscope paid him like $1 million to stop saying GU not. The G Unit name was just so powerful back
Mm-hmm.
then. They didn't want to have something like that staining the brand.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even know nothing about that either.
That's why I
Um,
could believe that.
right.
But moving on. So as I said, in September you make your first music video appearance in the Out of Control remix. By
Mm-hmm.
November of 2005, you're on the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack on the song Death Becomes You.
Mm-hmm.
So this album was major. 300,000 copies first week, 3 million sales overall.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the fans were asking, what happened with your highly anticipated G Unit album from M.O.P?
Well, we recorded a lot of records, as I said. We after the tour that we did with them, I literally stayed in 50's house for like 6 months creating records. Um, I think by the time we never finished recording. Right, you can just keep recording until you decide, okay, we're gonna put a record out. I think by the time we had so many records, there was time that passed, and again, there was more than likely something internal going on. Maybe not within G Unit, but whatever deal G Unit may have had with whatever. It's a lot of shit with this business. You know what I'm saying? Like you never know who's in a good space with who, or what budgets may have caused some kind of conflict or anything like that, which had nothing to do with M.O.P. And I don't know if that's the case, but there was something internal going on there. And like I said, in my opinion, I don't think it was G Unit inside of G Unit, but there was something maybe with the G Unit deal, maybe with management or something that prevented us from putting the project out. Um, Still, we moved on, right? Put out more projects after that, more records after that. So that I can't really say what the actual problem was, but what was not a problem was for us to move on and keep going and continue to be M.O.P.
could you tell me if there was a project name? Like, did your G Unit album have a title?
Nope, no title. There was because we were just working. We were just working. I thought about this the other day. We did a record that was so fire. We just called it "Oh Shit." Right? It was it was a Stevie Wonder sample. I had never heard this before, and it was the harmonica. The beat was everything was based around that harmonica. It was so funky, it was like everything that you needed in the beat. It was fire. Um, One of the records that we recorded there, a slew of other records, but that one stays in my mind because I had never heard a beat like that, or maybe I have never heard nothing that I clearly knew was a sample of Stevie Wonder's. It was so dope. You know what I mean? But yeah, no title. We never had any title. And it was some records that I think we used that we started to record on G Unit that we used for the next album, the Foundation album, I believe. Maybe one or two records. Actually, I think Sharks. There's a record we did called Sharks, which once we left G Unit, we put that on, I forget what label it was, but that next record that we put out, I think Sharks was a record, an idea that I had while we were inside of the G Unit deal. So yeah, there you go.